One of the greatest determinants of our contentment, our happiness, our uh, confidence, I think, is our level of hope. It's a funny word because it bridges, it takes us from our tangible, objective reality to our feelings, our anticipation for a better tomorrow, for desires, for wishes. When I was teaching graduate students, I used to tell them that in public health, it's okay to wish. And I would say that in the context of addressing a disaster or an impending disaster, the threat of one, where I would allow the audience to know that I side with them in wishing that this would pass, that we wouldn't have to deal with it at all, or that we might get through it quickly. It's a way of cementing bonds, of becoming one with someone and sharing, to the extent possible, their concerns as well as their goals for getting past it. So, hope is a bridge. It's a word that's rather easily dismissed by skeptics, by people who, for example, are either critical of faith or downright hostile towards it. They may mock those who experience hope and the whole idea of it because to them it is simply fantasy. It's a shame that there are some people who think that way because when you lose hope, you are losing the capacity to be optimistic, to be aspirational, to aspire for higher goals, better outcomes, self improvement, improve relations, a whole list of things that might be under that category. If you don't have hope, you simply, I think, are much more inclined to go with the flow without trying at all to do anything, or at least not being much motivated by it. Because after all, wishing for something to be better doesn't make it so. Well, that's true enough. But having the faith and the hope of a better outcome does give us the opportunity to be energized and to look to the future with confidence. Those of us who are dealing with life threatening diseases know this firsthand. It is fearful to hear a dire prognosis. And just having hope that it doesn't turn out that way, of course, doesn't change the objective reality of it. Except perhaps in some measure if scientists who are studying this turn out to be right about attitude influencing our health. Certainly, attitude influences our mental health. It's fundamentally important to that. It invariably or inarguably also improves or affects our relationships with other people, those we love close. If we're likely to get along with them and not just tolerate them, but thrive in their presence, to truly enjoy being with them, the capacity to be hopeful and joyous run hand in hand. In Georgia, where I'm located, within the last 2 weeks, a mass shooting occurred at a school in which two students and two teachers were killed. This has been a very difficult time, but even the ordinarily non feeling oriented newspapers, the news media, television actually does a better job of this all the time, but they have embraced or reported on the emotional aspects of this loss, and hope measures prominently in people coming to grips with the unthinkable, the loss of children at the hand of a crazed shooter. In our own lives, we have those times, I assume, when we may feel overwhelmed, when we may feel even hopeless. If we have the capacity to be optimistic, to find hope. And I think the best vehicle for that really is a strong faith. And regardless of your specific religious tradition that you might follow, being open to faith gives you the capacity to be hopeful in a whole new way. To look at whatever life threats you might be dealing with more positively, to look at the future with a certain optimism that doesn't sidestep the seriousness, perhaps, of the situation that you're in, but does arm you with the ability to get through it in a more healthy manner, to be happy, to be optimistic, to be energized, to be firm in your commitment to do all you can to get past it. That is a big way of how hope is fulfilled. It is a driving force. And when we're able to use it that way, we find that our lives can be better, even if in the final analysis, and who knows what the future holds for any of us, but even if things turn out differently than those that we had specifically hoped for. And one other point. If we're able to go through life with a serious and sincere and robust measure of hope, we are a blessing to other people as well. By the same token, those who are in despair all the time bring others down. So I guess if you can't be hopeful for yourself, be hopeful for those around you. But ideally, be hopeful for all. Thanks.